Hi guys, welcome to Phoenixiety channel. I'm getting ready to go to college. I have today social welfare and political ideologies class. Yesterday I had case management and advocacy and another class, but particularly I want to talk about case management and advocacy part. But before I start with that, sleeping. Before I start with that, I wanna sneak peek from my past history. Long ago, when my son was like about 2 years old, my ex was kind of violent with me, abusive. He kind of slightly tried to put his hand on me, but quickly understood that he gonna end up speaking with police. So he become a little more creative, right? But anyway, at this moment, he did pick up hand on me. He did broke the home phone, those thick landline phones, broken half. That's how violent situation was. I'm not gonna tell the details. But the thing is, long story short, police end up asking me questions, and I had to tell things about me, but I was very naive and I didn't want that my son will lose father like I didn't have father, right? It's hard to grow without father. Who knows? That someone who knows. Very naive. I should actually ended up back then, before it's developed so ugly. So the police seen that I protect my son, that everything is okay. But the thing is, they, by the law, whenever they have a child involved in a conflict, in a domestic conflict, they must call social service workers or social worker, whoever on duty, whoever on the first responders list, they do call. And from there, the social workers dig in into the situation, or social service workers. And man, I can tell you, you are lucky if a competent professional being called to the situation that you end up with. I wasn't that lucky. This lady basically, he shut my mouth and untied the hands of a monster, my ex abuser. For about 15 long years, I was basically speechless and powerless because I was scared that child and society gonna come and take my son. Now my son is over 18. I'm not scared anymore. I'm long over, but the thing is, this social service worker or social worker, whoever she was, she said it's like if one more call, their system will mark me as they have to start a case, means trouble with my son. Basically, I was the victim and I was in fear that they'll take my child. While my ex understood the situation very quickly, that he can take advantage of that and I cannot do anything, become in a position that is actually awesome for him, right? And a nightmare for me and my son. Well, my son was basically protected by me, right? So I was taking the hit. This social service worker, I'm not talking about my situation, just this is just brief explanation what we was dealing with back then, so you'll understand. But now, fast forward, studying as social service worker myself at this program, I quite learned that social workers and social service workers are not equal to monsters that many of us, majority, believe. Basically, social service workers, especially at the first responders or like whenever children are involved, they have to quietly dig in into the situation and hear the unspoken things, ask questions, not just fear mongering like one more call and we'll take your kid. I was a good mom, right? I am still good mom. Good mom. My son chose to be with me, and he understand what monster my ex is. And trust me, I didn't say a word. That was his own decision. But this female, I cannot call her differently, female. She didn't bother to dig into the situation. She wanted just to work for her hours very quickly. And honestly, I see majority of the students that I am studying along with are the same. And I'm sure they're gonna cause more troubles in the future, more damage and more pain to others than they'll help, even though they believe that they'll help, right? You have to pay attention to who you are, how you deal, to hear, to read the between lines, right? So let's get back to the social service workers on the field. What they have to do? They not in any case they shouldn't moralize. They shouldn't diagnose. They shouldn't give therapies or any of their opinions. They shouldn't say like, "Oh, you should just," or in my case, it's like, "We'll call one more call and we'll open the case." I was really wrong. Now I understand that. I could sue her for that, but I was very naive. And basically, we shouldn't open, like, focus only on feelings. Instead, what we have to do, we have to get through the levels of analyzing, analyzation, what situation person end up in, right? Basically, case management, that's who's people who have to deal with it after all, not the counseling part, right? So the part that should be checked on is like personal, which is individual, micro, which is like family and interperson relationships, mezzo is like a community around, like my son was at the daycare and whom I dealt with, macro level, like a society system, like what I'm dealing with, what systems I'm in, like what's applied to my situation around, and slightly touching chronological, like how long from where it starts, what steps through the chrono line was passed, and basically that would give full picture of what's going on. This lady didn't bother to do any of that. She just checked that my son have toys, she just checked the fridge, and she said that one more call on the open case. Ta-da! What does it mean on individual level to check? It's like mental health, physical health, coping skills, trauma history, age, ability, language. It can be anything, like even an anxiety, like a hidden, right? If you don't even ask questions, how would you know? At the second level, with the family interpersonal level, right? It's like family relationship, parenting, partners, caregivers, conflict support. Basically, she didn't even bother questions about my ex, how he is, who he is, what he does. She didn't ask my son how my ex behaved with us. Basically, none, right? Police was even deeper involved in a suffering from me, like asking me questions about my situation than this social service worker. Like, honestly, this person shouldn't be in the field, like, at all. She caused the damage that lasted 17 years for me. 17 years, right? Now I'm at this field and I'm studying. I took even criminology, but this is for another episode. So, getting back to the levels, right? At the level 3, it's a community. It's like, should be asked questions about housing, employment, transportation, school, healthcare, access, social support, and level 4, societal, systematic. It's like touching all the questions regarding poverty, racism, gender inequality, not attached to my situation, colonialism, but it's like settled colonialism. We're not talking about that, right? But even though me and Max from different countries and different cultures going on over there, but that's another question. And immigration status, disability barriers, immigration status should ask about. I was citizen and my ex was kind of bloodsucker, if you know what I mean. Disability barriers, policy, and law. So those questions, this list should be on prioritized, asking questions about, and not just what she did. Can pretend that she's doing something, get paid for her hours, and cause much more damage than my ex could ever did. Basically, she put a leash on me and give it that leash in my ex's hand. And that's people who should protect and support. Guys, I tried to explain the situation. I'm heading now to school. I have to prepare for college. Whenever deep talks are coming up, I'll be back. So if you have something to say, comment down below. If you have situation that you want to share with, I'd love to hear it. And comments, share, subscribe. Love you. Phoenixiety with you. See you next time.